Welcome, dirty peasants, to episode 13 of the Wartwood Gazette podcast. This week we'll be covering Amphibia Season 1, Episode 5, and Theft Auto and Breakout Star. I'm your host, Thembaticon, and joining me today we have Pixels.
Hello. Hi.
Nick.
Hey guys.
And Lemur.
Hello.
So this week in Amphibia news, we had Amphibia was nominated for a Daytime Emmy for Outstanding Animated Series, I believe.
Series? Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is like one of the highest awards that an animated show could be nominated with.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's some stiff competition this year too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, we
Very.
got.
Yeah, like
Hilda.
Hilda, Kipo, and
Craig of the Creek.
Craig of the
Yeah.
Creek,
Which ended season 3, by the way.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah,
Great.
and Tales of Arcadia, Wizards.
Never heard of it.
yeah. No,
like-
from what I heard, it could be like any of them. From what I've heard, like I've heard people saying like a lot of good stuff about all of them.
Yeah.
But honestly, like the only, like the show that I believe would probably win here is Hilda, but I think Amphibia may have a good chance here too.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like I wouldn't blame you for that assumption because I think Hilda got nominated for like 4 other awards, right? Like,
Yes.
Yeah, that was one crazy day for them.
hmm
And
Yeah,
like
it's Kupo's last season too. It's last season 3. But yeah,
Yeah. It's still
yeah, but
It's so
yeah,
crazy that Kipo came out in like less than a year.
Jesus, like they blew their load in that show so hard.
Yeah. I'm gonna be surprised if like any of the judges actually watched it. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't even know it existed. But actually here we are actually.
Oh.
They do know.
Yeah.
all right. So I think we'll get right into and Theft Auto. So let me pull up the credits. So and Theft Auto, written by Geneva Me, storyboard by Drew Applegate and Cheyenne Curtis, and directed by Derek Kirk Kim. So the episode starts off with the planners taking a joyride on Bessie, even though Hop Hop basically doesn't want to go anywhere. They're just driving without a purpose, I guess. So Anne wants to drive Bessie, and Hop Hop surprisingly agrees, but only until she reads Bessie's story, aka her manual. So while Hop Hop takes Polly gives Polly a bath, Anne and Sprig basically just grab Bessie and start driving around until they get stuck in the forest because Bessie's not coming out for some reason. Oh, and before that, they pass by Mrs. Croker, and Sprig just was being Sprig and agitating her with some road rage. But while they're stuck, Sprig goes to get help while Anne stays to watch Bessie and see if she can do anything. But then eventually she just gives up and then decides to wait for Sprig to come back and decides to read Hop Hop's or Bessie's story. So we cut back to Sprig. Sprig is basically looking for a ride. Mrs. Croker shows up and then she offers to give him a lift, and her ladybug vehicle is very slow. Cut back to Anne. Anne is already immersed in Bessie's story. Recalls a flashback. Flashes back to Sprig suffering with Mrs. Croker. Goes back to Anne. Anne starts reading a book she continues reading the book and notices that the common predator of the snails is these mutated, weird, ugly-looking hedgehogs. And then eventually they all show up. Then in order to Anne gives the basically like the warning call to Bessie. Things are getting messy, and then Bessie heads out. They have a little chase. Eventually, Bessie just shits out like a distraction kind of like oil slick thing. They end up, which ends up deterring the hedgehogs, and then eventually they grab Sprig and go home. And then Mrs. Croker reveals that she was just trolling Sprig the whole time. So they get back to the planter home. Anne decides to spend the night outside, continuing to read Bessie's story. And then the next morning, Anne just wakes up Hop Pop looking tired. And we end off with that iconic line of Hop Pop's where he doesn't feel safe. So that's pretty much. So that's the episode, and I really liked it. It was nice to see Bessie. I'm a big Bessie fan. The Sprig and Mrs. Croker were hilarious. I liked that side plot, and I really liked Anne learning to not treat Bessie like as a vehicle, but as a living being, which is good because Bessie's a queen. But starting with Nick, what were your thoughts on this segment?
Well, honestly, I just like really liked this episode. I liked a lot of the jokes. I liked how it sort of showed like another flaw of Anne, where she could be selfish and just sort of go off on her own while ignoring everyone else's feelings and ideas in the situation. And I'm like, I tried to especially pay attention to this episode because like all the way in the future, the second temple, Valeriana, she mentions that like this was like an example of like Anne's problem where she can be selfish. So yeah, I don't know. I just really found Anne Theft Auto to be good.
Yeah, I like that. I forgot about that callback that Valeriana did with Anne, like recalling her past deeds or her past bad deeds. Lemur, what were your thoughts on the segment?
Okay, so Grand Theft Auto is actually like one of my earliest favorites of season 1, primarily because it's like the comedy in this episode is really, really good. I I adore everything. I adore every single joke on this episode, from Anne's impatientness to Sprig and Mrs. Croker being like banter. Like, also, this is like Mrs. Croker's first appearance in the show. Am I if I'm not wrong, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah, Mrs. Croker. She's freaking great. I love how she just essentially trolls Sprig because, well, he deserves it. Like, and I think it also I think that moment is like might be a setup for one of the future episodes of 1B, which we'll tackle very, very, very far in the future. But
Yeah,
aside from that, yeah.
it could be
Mrs. What?
it could just be like a really good explanation for why she doesn't like him. But yeah, we can get to that later.
Yeah, we'll get to that eventually. But yeah, Mrs. Croker in this episode was freaking great. Bessie, this is one of the first episodes where Bessie got the spotlight, and it really shows why she is one of the more fan favorites one of the fandom, because yeah, her story is really, really good, and her personality is just very sweet. And I know a lot of people really, and that alone makes like Grand Theft Auto one of the earliest standouts of season 1, because yeah, like it's not necessarily plot relevant like the rest of the season, but the characters here really do shine. And I also really like Anne in this. Well, I don't Anne in this episode because yeah, it still continues her flaws from the very beginning, which is again very weird to see after everything that we have witnessed in season 2. Seeing her like this again is weird. But her learning those lessons is very rewarding because this is another step closer to her being accepted to the planter family more in the near future, because Bessie is a very huge, very important part of the planter. And so making their relationship clear and love Bessie is a nice step in that direction. So yeah, overall, I really like this episode. It's definitely one of the more fondly remembered episodes of the early season 1, and it definitely shows why.
All right, thank you, Lemur. And Pixels, what were your thoughts on the segment?
It was a really fun episode. The pacing was really great. The timing of the jokes were perfect. I agree with what Nick said, that it kind of like we're still focusing on Anna and how selfish she is, but I feel like the whole entirety of season 1A is just her connecting with the environment she's in, and I feel like Antha is a perfect example of that, because she just said, "Hey, I'm gonna just do this. I don't need to read any stupid manual," but she didn't know that this manual was basically a biography to Bessie and how connected she is to the Planet family. I took some screenshots. I put it in the server, which I thought was funny. It was the little Mrs. Croker with Sprig was funny and all that stuff. Yeah, it was a really great episode. Loved it.
All right, thanks, Pixels.
Mhm.
And yeah, I liked Polly didn't have. Oh, sorry, before I talked about Polly, the very beginning of the segment where we see the planners driving by some signs. One of them is a vote toadstool sign, and the other one is the Stumpy's ad. And it says Stumpy's, it probably won't kill you. So I guess that's like a setup for, not setup, just like a Easter egg for a future episode.
Yeah. Oh,
Lily
yeah.
Pad Eye.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed that like Amphibia does that a lot because oh no, shoot, no, this isn't the other episode, so I probably should bring it up. Yeah, but like like Amphibia does that a lot, where it just sort of like I didn't notice this like the first time I ever watched it because I guess I didn't know what the future episodes were, but like still, it's like there's just this sort of organic feel to it where like the whole the whole town, the whole season just like feels alive because they keep referencing things that might have happened beforehand or in the future.
Yeah. And Polly doesn't have a lot to do in this episode, but it's just hilarious when she's like, where Hop Hop just like takes her away, and she's like, I'm learning this from you, Anne. And then like later on, she's just like jumping around. Like apparently, Hop Hop spent the entire day trying to wash her.
Yeah.
Polly being Polly.
I feel bad for Hop Hop. I just feel bad for Hop Hop.
He's doing the best he can.
He spent the entire day trying to wash Polly, and he didn't make any progress at all.
That's the worst. She still had mud on her. Like she must have been jumping around the house the whole day.
I mean, technically, they should have removed some of the mud on her body, but logic, I guess. Polly and Polly being Polly.
Yeah, Polly being Polly. She probably just found some more dirt to go jump in the house.
It's true.
And Hop Hop's face when he's like taking Polly away, it's like he knows he's like in for a bad time.
Man, that poor old man. Like, I feel like it's just so easy to not see how miserable his life can be sometimes. Like, he just knew he was gonna have an awful day as soon as he looked at. Yeah, I'm seeing the image now. As soon as he looked at Polly, he just knew he was gonna have a bad day.
Yeah, he's used to it.
Yeah. That's what sucks. Like, yeah, he's the only character in the show to have like random super morbid lines. Like, oh man, sometimes you just gotta wonder about Hop Hop.
And then we see it really like early on in this season. Usually, when Anne suggests doing something a little morally wrong, Sprig is usually like he's like the voice of reason very briefly before Anne like convinces him. Like in this case, he like hesitates to go on Bessie's like maybe this is one of those decisions we'll look back on and say, oh boy, we probably shouldn't have done that. And then Anne just like bribes him with ice cream, with the thought of ice cream. And yeah, I think this isn't the only occasion where like Sprig almost has the right idea, and then he's just led off from that path, I guess.
Yeah, sort of like I think did the same thing happen in Grubhog Day? Because I can't remember that. Yeah, I think that does happen a few times.
Yeah, it happens
here
in
and there where
Groundhog Day. Yeah.
Yeah, where she convinces him to get into trouble. I mean, just like the first episode, right? Like best friends.
Yeah. And yeah, you know how far Anne has come as a character when you see when they're trying to get Bessie to come out of her shell. Season 2 Anne would give Bessie a proper leaf. Season 1 Anne gave her this like let me post a screenshot of this.
Yeah.
This really
It was like I don't even know. It was like a dead pile of leaves. Like that. It was like a mushy dead pile of leaves. Like Sprig had to like.
Look at this shit. Like I wouldn't put this in the compost bin. Anne had the audacity to try and feed Bessie this.
Like,
it's Anne.
I don't
Anne
even
was
know.
thinking of Anne.
Yeah, it's so. I guess she just learned to become like. I mean, she was. I mean, Anne was. I think. I can. I feel like I can say Anne is a nice person right now, but like, I don't know. Before she read that book, she had like little to no care for Bessie. She called her like a vehicle, gave her that mushy leaf. Just yeah, no, it's just so weird to see this such a huge contrast between like season 2 and season 1. I mean, like Best Friends was already bad enough, but like yeah, this is just something else.
I like that little transition where Anne starts reading Bessie's story, and then like it transitions into Hop Hop's voice acting, or sorry, Bill Farmer's voice acting. That was just like a neat little thing. And then like the book is just filled with just and the book is just filled with all this like random like descriptions where it keeps leading back to like another person. Like I don't know how to describe this. Like because like if you pause and look at the book, it says it keeps trying to define a term with another term, and then it just like keeps repeating.
Oh, it does. Man, I never I noticed that I could read, but I never like stopped to actually like take a look into it. But yeah,
I mean, it could be like old timey talk or whatever, because you know how Hop Hop is.
Yeah, but oh man, it would be kind of cool to get some. I wonder though, because like I just wonder how like Hop Pop's past life with Bessie just like fits into him being like the wrecker, you know? Like, how does all of that just like sort of come together? I feel like he just has like a ton that he can talk about from his past, you know, that he hasn't shared yet with them. But I mean, I don't know. I think that's one of them.
Yeah, we don't really have an idea of how old Hop Hop was when he got Bessie, because like I think in the flashback where they show him in the snow, they cover up his face, and I think that was probably intentional, where they didn't want to like place that scene in a certain like time frame. I think just by covering up Hop Hop, they could just avoid answering that question, and then also like leaving the writer's room to like change the timeline if they ever needed to.
Just because maybe this is just gonna be like a random guess, but like you know how when I'm in Bessie Michelangelo, like Bessie has like, you know, the like a drawing of her family, and it's just like, you know, the current planters plus Anne and Michelangelo. But like I guess Brig and Polly's parents aren't there, so like maybe I don't know, is there a chance that he brought Bessie in after all that stuff happened, or like, or did he, or was he just never around home with Bessie or so? I don't know. I think it could be like one of the. I think it could be like one of those two.
I think she's older than that though, because like the way Hop Hop talked about Bessie
Yeah.
in Bessie Michelangelo, he's like, unlike
Used to.
Michelangelo, you are an old snail. And then he
That's
says something
true.
along the lines like, "You've had your share of winners,"
Yeah,
and
that's
he's like
true.
laughing at Bessie.
Yeah. He did just like not care that. Like he just didn't care about her feelings in that situation. But I don't know. But I do think my favorite part of this episode is just the idea that like Anne learning to drive Bessie, it sort of gives her a chance to get like Lemur said, to get closer to the family by like learning
Mhm.
some planter family history, and actually I suppose like gaining like a role into the family, because like now she can be one who helps Hop Hop take care of Bessie and drive her around anytime they need to, like sort of just really, because this is just something like I feel like it happens eventually, but like I feel like she definitely does become like the elder granddaughter of the family, and I just think like writing Bessie is like a first step.
Yeah, for sure. And even just riding Bessie, like later on, they address in season 2 Night Drivers, like where Hop Hop mentions like Anne's the only other person who's like read the manual. So like she's the only one like he would be able to rely on.
Yeah. See, yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, definitely that. I just think I think it's just at some point in season 1 where like she really does join the family. But like, I'm not sure yet. I think we're getting close, but we're not there yet.
And Pixels, any final thoughts on the segment?
I really just kind of said that this was a good episode. This was a good example of how Anne is connecting to the environment and to the planters as a whole. It's a great
All right.
episode, though.
And I think Lemur's having some technical issues, so I think we'll just proceed to Breakout Star. So Breakout Star is, let me open up the credits. So Breakout Star, written by Gloria Shen, storyboard by Aaron Austin and Hannah Ayobi, and directed by Derek Kerr Kim. So the episode starts with Anne just like waking up screaming about her acne. And then like we get that fun little joke of like the planners like wanting to quarantine Anne. But then Anne's very self-conscious about this, because like the town already sees her as a freak. And then just going out there, she doesn't want to go out there in public, but then Hop Hop like drags her, like Hop Hop tells her like she has to come help sell their beans at the market. So she like covers herself up, even though people still know it's her, and they're still terrified of her. So they try selling some beans, then eventually like Anne loses her disguise, and then to her surprise, everyone loves her acne because it looks like ruby warts. So then while the town is like treating Anne like a celebrity, we cut to Toadstool, who's in his office trying to figure out how to increase his approval ratings for the election that's happening next month. And he sees Anne's popularity, and then hatches a plan to have this help his campaign. We cut back to the planner home. The planners and Anne are all looking at all the gifts they've received, or that Anne has received. And then eventually Toadstool shows up at the door, and then him and Anne go on and talk about uh, just being popular or whatever. And then the planners are left in the dust. You get a montage of Anne just like cutting the tape at a bunch of new buildings that are opening up. And then again, planners are being left in the dust. So then after the montage, Toadstool shows Anne her new apartment, or her new room, and the planners just casually walk in through the window, and then Anne is acting like a bee, and then because she has like some other events to do, and then when the planners leave, they start like Spring starts talking about like, oh, she like starts like trash talking her, and Anne can overhear, and then Hop Hop mentions, oh, like when one of your own makes it big, you gotta support them no matter what. And then Anne starts feeling a little bit guilty, but then the next morning she wakes up, her acne's gone, and the first thing she does is to call the planners to help her like figure out a solution. So they try sneaking her out, but then eventually she's revealed, and then Hop Hop stays behind for like an overly dramatic sacrifice. So then Anne has like the decoy like berries as her acne, but then eventually like she realizes like she should just be who she is, or just she shouldn't hide or pretend to be something she's not. Reveals the disguise. Toadstool gets mad or upset, and then while like making fun of the town at the same time, they get all pissed off, and then they start chasing him down. And then eventually Anne is just grateful to have the planners, and then like her and the planners like reconcile, and then the episode ends with them heading back to the apartment to like use the hot tub before Toadstool changes the locks. So that was Breakout Star, and yeah, I thought this episode was alright, and I think this episode, along with Grand Theft Auto, was definitely, I guess, the peak of Anne's, I don't want to say unhealthy traits, just like her, like, it was the peak of the season where we saw Anne's flaws on display in the show, I guess. And, I guess, Lemur, like, what were your thoughts on the segment?
Okay, so this is actually like one of my, well, contrary to Auto, this is actually one of my least favorite episodes of the season, and possibly the entire show, simply because like I don't know, like the plot itself just kind of doesn't make sense to me. Like, why? Like, I don't understand like the frog's obsession with warts. It's probably some biology thing that I do not know. But like the fact that the Wart would forget that Anne was a monster simply because she has pimples is kind of stupid to me. Like, they emphasize the fact that her pimples are like the red rubies that are apparently very desirable, but like other than that, it's like it still confuses me so much. And like, and aside from that, I think this is also where Anne is at her very worst, because yeah, like, back to your point, this is really where we see Anne at her least likable, where she is like the very she's very much the contradiction of what we know now. And you know, that kind of character is annoying, and for the majority of this episode is annoying, like, for like, and I know that's on purpose, but like, even though it's on purpose, you can still feel it. And like, for the majority, but you know, even with all of my transgressions here, there are still some really good things about. There's still some good things about this episode, primarily from the characterization of Toadstool here, which with the benefit of hindsight gives this episode a lot more, makes it a lot more enjoyable, because yeah, he's a corrupt he's a corrupt politician, but what makes him tolerable for the most part in season 1 is that he's a he's a corrupt politician that gets his comeuppance every once in a while. Like, yeah, he tries to manipulate the polls in this episode by using Anne's star power, but yet at the end of the day, because of his ego, he gets he gets he gets from it. And this is one of the many examples of him getting his getting punished for his misdeeds. And I really like that. And especially from what we know from his transformation in season 2, it's also kinda charming now to see Toadstool like this, because yeah, it really because it also Toadstool is also like an example of how much Anne has affected Wartwood in the majority of the show. Because if a corrupt politician can somehow be changed by this wily 13-year-old girl who's also just as bad as him, Wartwood, you can really say that Wartwood, that not only Anne is a special individual, but also Wartwood itself. Wartwood is a very special town, and the fact that Toadstool changed is a good example of that. And aside from that, the planters here didn't really do much aside from helping Anne, continue this facade for them, and well, they successfully are doing it so until Anne learned his lesson, which is another good thing about this episode that I really like, because yeah, she really learned her lesson here, and ever since this episode, she never got that bad. It really feels like her character developed from this episode, and yeah, I really like that. Overall, the Breakout Star for me is like, it's still like one of my least favorite episodes, but the power of hindsight really makes this episode a lot better than I initially thought. It's still not good enough for me to consider it like very good or solid, but it's a good episode. But I consider it now as a good episode.
All right, thank you, Lemur. Pixels, what were your thoughts on the episode?
It was an alright episode. This episode reminded me of a show that had a similar premise, The Loud House. I'm not sure if you
Yeah, we've all heard of that.
That episode.
Yeah, we never heard that episode. Never heard that show before. What episode is that exactly?
Out of a limo. I think it was a season 1 episode, basically linking one of contests from a mustard company, and now he gets to spend a full day of having a limo to himself. But then some rich dude came and said, "Hey, I like your limo. You want to join my limo club?" And he said, "Sure." Then that's when his selfishness came to be and acted like he was rich just because he had a limo. It was stupid. It was a dumb episode. Amphibia did it better, but yeah, I liked how it showed how selfish, like how something very simple can like make a person be like acne. Like acne, it makes sense why, because warts. People think they're frogs, so I actually don't know what else to say about this episode. It was fine. Nothing really to point out, but it was fine.
Yeah, thank you, Pixels. And yeah, like the episode was fine. Like
Yeah.
I didn't think too much about it until like, with the exception of one thing, but I'll bring that up later. And like Anne like buttering herself up was literally buttering herself up not was not uh it was gross, understandably. But Nick, what were your thoughts on the episode?
Honestly, like when I started the episode, like I expected myself not to like it that much. I remember like the first time I saw it, like I wasn't the biggest fan of it. But like honestly, I just feel like the way they handled like Anne's descent in this episode, it wasn't like I feel like it wasn't too obnoxious because like it sort of had like a setup at the beginning, you know, where the whole town's just disrespecting her and like you already know that like at this point Anne's the type of person who wants to like, you know, kiss up to someone, make themselves look good in front of someone else to make sure they maintain that sort of relationship they have with them. Because like I mean we can tell that at this point. But I don't know, like yeah, I think I definitely agree that this was like Anne's lowest point because the whole scene where like she just grabs a stick of butter and just rubs it all over her face, like that was disgusting. That was just
Yeah, like the obsession too.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that scene because
it was just
I forgot that this episode has gross out humor. Like, and I just watched it like 2 hours ago.
yeah. I'm like I don't even know. I was just too shocked to say anything. What did she even say? She said, "I got to keep these babies hungry." Like I was like, "Oh my god!" Like I was like, "Anne." I was like, "Anne, geez." But like that's why I feel like I can't hate the episode because I feel like in hindsight right now, like just looking back at like Anne's core issue, which I feel like it's like a lack of confidence. It's needed to be she needs to submit to, you know, she needs to like to satisfy people to make sure that, you know, she's good. I don't know how to put it right now, but like yeah, I feel like this episode really established that, especially because of how like, you know, Wartwood was like, you know, bullying her at the beginning. But yeah, honestly, those are my thoughts on it.
Yeah, thank you, Nick. Yeah, like and just like she craves the like the admiration of the town or whoever she's with. And it's not like yeah, like this episode is fine, but like I think the jokes in this episode, like I think the jokes in every episode of Amphibia is what like saves even the most like lackluster episodes.
Yeah,
Because
it
like
was still, yeah, it was
I don't
still
want to
really
live in
solid.
this
Like
planet anymore.
yeah, yeah, the Anne's. I don't like it's Polly's reaction and then Anne's face. Well, like she seems so proud of the idea. Like it made me pause it and just start laughing for like 30 seconds. Like I just couldn't stop. Like it's just I don't know. That's why I feel like is what saves it because it's such a generic plot to have a character let fame get to their head, but like the way Amphibia just like, you know, adds these little things in, it just saves the episode and makes it better than you ever think it would be.
yeah, and even like that scene where like Hop Hop stays behind to distract the town.
Oh,
and, like
yeah.
Oh
like,
Yeah, he has her shoe and like he's yeah.
in like the slow mo.
See, that's just great. Man, but
And
I
then
don't
just
know.
cuts to Polly after.
Man, I remember like I tried to like see if like we saw any, you know, like town regulars like Croaker, Stumpy, Maddie or something, but like it was just like Wally in the crowd. Like when Toadstool was about to give when Anne was about to give her speech, like you could only see Wally in the crowd right there. So I don't know, I guess is that like a sign that they were saving them for later in the season, or like did they only have like maybe it was just that then, yeah.
Yeah, like I guess that like we're being introduced to the townies very slowly, so like showing them like saving them for not showing them for cameos is like a smart thing to do because it makes their appearances more special, I guess.
Oh yeah, like you can put I totally I get that, yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe they didn't have the characters at this point, or I don't know. I'm checking the production code.
That's a factor too, because like
The production code's 104B. So it's only one episode behind. It's not that far. It's not that early in the.
Wait, when it was the Hop and wait, was it Hoplock? What's the production code for that episode?
Let me check that.
Oh yeah. There was like another thing I was gonna point. So like, oh yeah, there's like this one thing I was gonna point out though. Like, I think it's a scene where it's a scene where Toadstool, he's trying to figure out like what he's gonna do for his election campaign. I just noticed that like he said that the election's in like another month, and that, I feel like that just sort of connects back to like how I was talking about the organic feel of Amphibia. Like it's like a direct reference to Hot Popular, and like I just like those little nods. Yeah.
So Hot Popular's production code is 102. But then Annual Beast is 103.
I wonder what. Oh wait, because Groundhog Day was like their first episode they actually produced, right? Apparently,
but then the production code says it's 111A. So I'm not sure. Like maybe the production code and like whatever they worked on isn't like it's not in that order that we're thinking about.
Production order is like unreliable in season 1.
Yeah, honestly, I don't even know. Yeah.
Also on the topic of like Hot Popular, like have we seen those buildings that Anne and Toadstool opened in that episode?
Wait, I don't think so. Like orphanage, we don't see anything about that. Community center, we don't see that.
Yeah, that statue is definitely not there anymore.
Oh yeah,
that's definitely gone.
It's the school, right? It's only like the elementary school that got destroyed apparently.
Yeah,
and they took that down. I don't know what happened to those buildings.
Just vanished, I guess.
Been taken down by monsters apparently off screen.
Probably.
Yeah, but I feel like for Breakout Star, besides like a sign for like Anne's growth, I think it also did a good job of like furthering her relationship with the planters, because like I think it showed her like the type of relationship that, or like let's just say family, the type of family or friend group, whatever, that she wants to be a part of. Like it's one that will like stand by her even at her worst. That'll be there to help her. And
Hop Up said that like one of your own has made it big. You have to support them no matter what. It means that Hop Pop considers Anne as one of the planters at this point.
Yeah, and like that's what I was trying to. I think. Oh, yeah, that's actually true. Yeah, maybe this is a sign of that.
Yeah,
but like, even though he said that, it feels like she still is not like fully fledged in that part of the family. She's still like an outsider.
Like maybe. Oh no! Sorry, keep going.
No. I just finished my point there.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna. I guess like maybe each of them like sort of came to the conclusion that like Anne was was sort of like a part of the family at their own point. Like because like I know there's like this. I know Anne. I think it's in was a family shrub or something where like she realizes that like even I guess what was it like non-frog? I can't remember, but like
non-frog members can be a part of the planter thing.
I think that was like maybe like Anne's moment where she realized that like this could be my family. I could be I could be a part of this. So I don't know. I think because like
I consider it to be Anne versus Wild, but yeah, like it could be like she literally states it out loud in Family Shrub, which is nice. Yeah.
I do like the point that each of the planters like could have their each individual point where they consider Anne as like a part of their family instead of just like one moment together. But yeah, I still think that they're like Anne is still like there is like she's still not truly part of that family at this point. Yeah, but like she's like a relative, but not like an actual family member. We'll probably get that in like one of the very few next episodes. Though.
Yeah, I think we're getting.
I'm pretty certain. Yeah, we're pretty close though. It's getting close.
Yeah, because I feel like at a certain point, I think it's like because I think maybe toe tax will be like It'll be like, it'll be at a, it'll be like the last one, because I feel like after Toe Tax is when Anne starts having her, like, sort of own individual episodes of like the people of Wartwood. So I just feel like that's going to be like, sort of like the last bridge off before we just move on to other things for season 1.
Yeah, Toe Tax is where Anne was like a part, was really established that Anne is a part of Wartwood, but earlier than that, it was established. It is really been built that Anne is a part of the Planter family.
Yeah, but like here, it's just like, can I go back to live in your basement?
Yeah, she's still like a close captive or like of the Planters.
Mm-hmm.
But her relationship with the Planters has been getting stronger in each succeeding episode.
Right.
Yeah, because I think that's really true, because I think even in this episode, like I think it's when the Planters come to visit Anne, like they didn't they basically break into her mansion or whatever, but like they break into her mansion.
They just open the window and just walked in.
Yeah, and then they just got
I'm surprised the show didn't mention that.
Yeah. But like I think like Anne, she even describes like she doesn't describe like the Planter residence as like, as a former home. Instead, she's just like, oh, can you guys believe I was staying in your crummy old basement? Like, there's sort of that like detachment between them. You know what I mean? Like that space that there's sort of that space between them that just stops them from being a family, because like it's like she would have just said
she's still a guest. She's still a guest.
It still feels like I just feel like I just wanted to, is there really a specific episode that we can really just pinpoint the moment where like Anne truly is a part of the family? Like,
maybe
as well, but I'll die on that hill when we get there.
Yeah, but maybe there isn't like a specific moment where Anne will like finally became a member of the family, but maybe we can pinpoint an episode where Anne starts to be feeling like a part of that family.
Yeah. I guess we're just gonna pay close to her lines, and like we have to like.
Yeah, this is the point of the podcast. We're rerounding time and examining these episodes with the benefit of hindsight and analysis.
Exactly.
That's what we're doing. Yeah.
And I like the when Toadstool like tells Anne that she like doesn't need the planners, and then she's like looking at her phone lock screen, and it's like this like most like some shows would like probably put some like very like formal looking photo of the family on like a character's like phone wallpaper / lock screen, but like here it's just like Sprig and Polly are doing like funny faces, and like Hop like has like no idea what's going on when she took the photo. Like let me post in the chat.
He got blinded by the flash.
No, I just can't wait for Hop to learn how to properly use a phone, because like the season 3 intro promises that, doesn't it? Like he's just chilling, probably just swiping through Facebook or something. He's old, like just doing all kinds of stuff.
Right?
Yeah. This is great. Yeah, this is great. This is just great. Yeah, Hop has no clue what's going on, but I just can't wait for him to become like addicted to our phone in season 3 when it finally has like Wi-Fi, so we can keep on watching like what's the show called?
Suspicion Island.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. I feel like that's gonna be a gag in season 3. I can't wait.
Yo, Betty, possibilities.
I can't wait for Hop to like disagree with people on the internet.
That's gonna be great.
Okay, I'm gonna say it right now. Okay, Boomer is gonna be a line in episode season 3.
Yeah.
Oh God. Oh God.
Yeah.
The fact they probably, and I guess it could work for them, because like I guess it could work for Anne to say it, because like they've been gone from Earth for months now, so they aren't really updated on like.
Yeah, they need to be updated with all like the memes and stuff that that Anne missed out.
Yeah, someone's gonna cringe at Anne dabbing as soon as she's gonna get that call. Like I don't even know. I can't wait to get to
dabbing is like outdated when the show came out. Doing that now and like and when they get back to Earth, it's gonna be even more cringy.
Yeah. So it's like, is Anne gonna dab back home and then like you're gonna get laughed out of the room?
Yeah,
like, hey Anne, how's school? And then she's like, just like walks to her room in like shame.
I got fucked because dabbing is not trendy anymore.
God, there's so many. There's, I mean, there's, I don't even know. There's so many
It's
things.
not lit anymore, Sprig.
God.
I'm so ready for all like the outdated internet language that season 3 is probably gonna bring us. Like I doubt that's going to happen, but I really wish it does because dabbing dabbing in Amphibia should have been like cringy, but it was just hilarious.
Yeah, no, it was just. I don't even know. It just. I don't know. Like I never cringed at it. I just kept on laughing. I was like, "What the hell?" I was like, "What the hell did Anne just do?"
Yeah.
Like I was just like, man, like I don't even. I think there's like 3 different scenes right where we see her dab. Like she was like, doesn't she have like a statue of herself dabbing?
Yes.
And, like,
Yeah,
she has
an Anne of the Year.
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh god, that's
And
fucking.
even
It was
wasn't dabbing
great.
in like 2017, like a 2017
yeah,
thing, and then the
it-
show
yeah,
came out in like 2019.
At least 2017 to 2018 thing.
Because
Yeah,
I remember it being a 2017 thing, like
yeah,
when I was like,
pretty old. Yeah,
Yeah, it was a pretty like what 4 years now. Holy, like good grief, it was 4
oh
years.
man,
Oh
Yeah.
god! What did
And
she
this is
just
my
say
this is my
later?
favorite fan art of all
Oh
time.
god! Oh my god! That
My-
is her. Oh my god!
Oh gosh, it's great. I love this show.
I just wanted to bring up like moments before we started recording. Like I was just going through the episode, and I noticed that like I don't know if it's intentional, but the way Toadstool's looking out of the window when he's like plotting his like scheme, and then in season 2 for Toad Redemption, we have Anne and Toadstool looking at the window again, and Toadstool feels like Toadstool's at that point where he doesn't want to leave Wartwood anymore. I don't know. It was a nice. It was a nice like thing to think about, I guess, with how far Toadstool's come, and just like having like he's literally looking out the window. It's like it's like it's a he's self-reflect. It's a reflection of himself, and he's like,
Yeah, it's like
he's self-reflecting, which is nice.
yeah, yeah. I think. Oh no, yeah. You go ahead. Go ahead. I'll go after you.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say like I feel this might just be another case of us over analyzing stuff, but I feel like this may be actually intentional. You know, because the framing of that scene here to that one in Total Redemption, it's exactly the same. The framing is like really 1-to-1. So this may be us again over analyzing stuff, but I really believe that this is actually what they're going for.
I hope so, because like
Yeah, no,
that's.
I could. Because
Oh,
it's
go
like,
ahead, Nick.
oh yeah, because I think it's not even like the first, right? This isn't like the last time Amphibia shows like a character's reflection in the like, right? You know what I mean? Like this isn't the last time like a character just like literally reflects by looking at a reflection of themselves. Like this isn't the first time that's. I mean, yeah, this isn't the last time that's ever going to happen. But like, what I really appreciate out of that whole. Yeah, I think it is intentional too. Yeah, I think it is intentional. Like what I really appreciate of that is I just like how it sort of like contrasts the relationship between season 1 and season 2. Where like season 1, like he just looked at Anne as like either a nuisance or something he could exploit. But then by season 2, like for more on equal grounds, like, you know, I'm not gonna say they're friends, maybe the acquaintances at best. But like,
Yes.
yeah, but like it's not, yeah, because like in season 2, like he's not seeing her as this new fresh thing that he can just use to manipulate the town. Instead, he's like, this is a part of the town, and I'm just wondering if they have any advice for me, anything to help me out here. Like,
Yeah, because
I just like that.
In Total Redemption, like he didn't even ask Anne to like come to him. Anne just come to him because apparently, you know, Hop Pop has tickets when he wasn't even in town, and yet, but Toadstool asked her for advice because he realized that he actually loved the town of Wartwood at that point, and it was great. It's and like and from being someone who's just using the town as like a political tool to being someone who actually does care about his citizens and the town that he's governing, it's it's honestly very satisfying.
Yeah, I mean, I think his development. Yeah, I think I don't know. I always thought that when I started season 1, I always thought Toadstool was just going to be this. He was just going to be the stereotypical crummy old mayor, stuff like
Yeah.
that. But like, I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
thought he'd be like a minor villain, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like way back in
Yeah.
season 1, because like we didn't have anything else to go off of from him until end of the year.
Yeah, like Toadstool was
and
like,
the season finale.
yeah, that's true. Like Toadstool, yeah, beforehand, like Toadstool was just like this consistent, like antagonist. But like, I don't know. Like, I just really like the route they took with him here. I mean, he snuck his way into my top 10. In my opinion, like he's definitely snuck his way into my top 10.
Like Toadstool, I don't think Toadstool and Anne, they probably didn't like they don't necessarily like each other like in end of the year, but Toadstool really I think Toadstool earned Anne's respect. Or wait, no, Anne earned Toadstool respect when that the shenanigans happened with Anne of the Year, and then it
Yeah.
went on to becoming actually liking her, and to extension the Planter family when they all travel to Utopia, and when they're missing them, because when they're missing their presence, because he admits that that them being gone from Wartwood makes Wartwood pretty boring.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think we haven't really talked about Breakout Star as much, which makes sense because like this episode wasn't really that
Exceptional.
exceptional. But yeah, it's nice to like see where the events here led to, or like
Yeah.
the events here were like the stepping stone for those
Yeah.
future episodes.
yeah, it's
I
nice to
think
see that big change. Yeah,
Yeah. I think Breakout Star is an episode that is not going to be remembered fondly, not because of itself, but it's going to be remembered fondly because of what it sets up. Well, like most episodes of season 1. Not to say that season 1 is not good. Far from it. That's what we're here for. It's just that looking at it with the power of hindsight made us realize that most of season 1 episodes, despite being solid on their own, are 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 actually more impactful because of the setup that they give to future events.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's been season 1's like I guess mission statement. Just have a good time while also setting up paths for a definitive future, which is in season 2 and 3. And I really like that.
yeah, and I honestly I do feel like there is like a sort of progression in season 1 where I just feel like future episodes that happen in 1B couldn't have happened if like certain episodes in 1A didn't happen. Like just the whole episode
Yes.
of Toe Tax. Like I think that like if Amphibia was like an RPG, I feel like Toe Tax is like, I don't know, beating that level, it unlocks all the different episodes where like Anne had her own individual episodes of say like Wally or Stumpy. Like episodes oh no, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and to unlock that path, you need to interact with them first. Like all of these other different characters, you need to interact with them first before unlocking that path.
Yeah, like that's why I just
It's a steady progression, a slow burn, and we don't really see that a lot in cartoons these days.
yeah, it's definitely not. I feel like that's just. Yeah, it's definitely not there that frequently, but I don't know, like it. I just really feel like we're onto something here for that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I
like
guess-
once we start covering like those future episodes with the payoff, like like I think we'll have a lot more to say about it then.
About
Yeah.
the episodes themselves, because for the
this
most
is
part,
kind of
these
fun.
episodes are just setups.
We're talking mostly about the future here, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, though, there's even Snow Day. There's even like Snow Day. There's no way Snow Day would have happened if Anne didn't get to know all the residents of Wartwood, because like they put their lives in her hands.
Yeah.
There's no way if Toe Tax didn't happen, if Lily Pad Tie didn't happen, if I'm great. Wally and Anne, I'm guessing Wally and Anne happened after, but like if all these previous episodes where Anne got to know the Wartwood residents didn't happen, then we would have never gotten that episode. Like there is that genuine sense of regression that season 1 has. Like I think maybe it's easy to miss because it's all in the same
Episodic
setting,
in
but like
nature. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I just hope season 1 it in the future it gets the credit that it deserves, because I feel like it had like a lot of thought and like just smart writing that went into it.
Yeah. Season 1, like we've said this like multiple times, but we won't shut up until people realize it. Season 1 is like very underappreciated because people just don't want to take the time to actually enjoy it. They keep looking for something that's not even there. So, but when you take the time to actually think about the episode, think about season 1, and enjoy it, and keep those in mind in order to watch season 2 and season 3, you realize that season 1 is very important, and that's saying something, because season 1 of Amphibia is like a different kind of breed. You know, it's we don't see these kinds of seasons that often. Even though you can say that we see these multiple times. Yes, it's episodic. Yes, it takes place at one location, but you don't see the subtle continuity and build up on other cartoons, like in Amphibia. Maybe you can argue in maybe Big City Greens, but that's a different type of topic. We're talking about
Yeah, like that's like a
plot-related
whole
cartoon.
other.
Yeah.
Like I feel like we should probably have like a 1A discussion, because I feel like we could
Oh yeah, that
cover
could
a
be
lot
fun.
more.
Yeah, that could be fun.
Amphibia?
Yeah, from
Just like
Amphibia.
just like
yeah,
a general
sure.
just like a general view of 1A.
Yeah,
That
sure.
could be
Why
fun.
not?
Yeah.
That could be fun, because I mean, we're kind of doing it right now, but yeah, a
Yeah, that's
general
true.
look back for a general look back for season 1A, it's kind of fun. Maybe after the maybe after the mid-season finale.
For sure. But I think it's a good time to wrap up, I think.
Yeah.
Oh
Do you
yeah.
guys have any final thoughts on the episode, Nick?
Basically,
I think I covered
basically what we've been
everything.
talking. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm sad. I feel like I'm sad things to talk about. Yeah, but I mean, I guess I these 2 episodes. I mean, they're good, and I like the setup that they provide for like the rest of the series. So yeah, I don't know. That's all I got.
Yeah, and then I think Lemur covered everything he needed to say, and then I'm just fast forwarding through the episode. I think we covered everything.
Yeah, I think we covered enough ground for these episodes.
And then Pixels had to leave early, but I'd like to thank him for coming on to the show.
Mm-hmm.
And next week we'll be covering Sprig
Girl
versus Hop Hop and Girl Time.
Let's
Oh
go.
boy, another set of very, very, very hard episodes to talk about.
Yeah, this could be it. No, because listen. Okay, I love Sprig versus Hop Hop. I love it. No, I think it's generally one of the funniest episodes Amphibia's ever made. Just like there's so much good stuff about it, like every single second. But yeah,
I don't want to
save it.
I don't want to get too much into it, but just the comedy
Yeah,
in those episodes.
yeah, it's really good. No, but I think Girl Time. Okay, I will admit that. I think that definitely is another controversial episode. Like, I was surprised a lot of people didn't like it, but we can just go into that next week then.
Yeah, we're gonna
Yeah,
do that for next
we'll
week.
cover it next week.
Actually,
I guess-
you know what? I think I mean, oh fuck it, I'll join next week because in defense,
Nice.
for girl time, I guess.
Yeah, I'll defend it too. Like, I don't know. I was surprised that the fandom didn't. Well, I was surprised that most of the fandom didn't, really like it that much.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
like-
pretty. It wasn't like hated. It was just like it was just a
Weird.
lukewarm compared to Sprig vs. Haba. But we'll talk about it next week. We gotta
yeah,
watch Owl
yeah.
House.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
What? There's an Owl House episode this week?
Holy moly. I keep
Shoot.
forgetting. I keep.
All right.
No, we gotta cut this.
Oh
Oh my
this
gosh,
week.
there's an Owl
You can't
House
diss Owl House.
episode
You
this
can't
week?
diss- you
I
can't diss Owl House
completely
on the podcast.
forgot.
All
We
right.
can't diss Owl House on the
Say-
podcast.
say
We gotta
goodbye,
cut this part
guys.
out. Cut
Alright,
out the Owl House dissing. All right,
Yeah,
see you
yeah.
guys.
Alright. See you all
Alright,
next
This will be
week.
hard to edit, though. Yeah. Okay. See you next
Yeah.
week. I'm not gonna edit this out. All right. Bye.
Okay, next week.